Somanta Jozovson, a smart and charming girl, graduated from college in 2019. She worked hard preparing for her final exams and carefully chose her outfit for the big ceremony. Little did she know, a horrific tragedy would soon befall her. Somanta was about to make a fatal mistake that would cost her life. Somanta was born in 1998 in the cozy town of Princeton, New Jersey, into a friendly and loving family. She had a younger sister named Cynthia. Their family was a role model for those around them. In 2015, Somanta enrolled at the University of South Carolina, majoring in political science. Living and studying away from home fostered her independence and expanded her social circle. In 2017, at a cafe, fate brought her together with Greg, who became her first love. Mutual feelings instantly sparked between the two young people. Somanta was one of the most popular and active students at her college. She participated in campus life and repeatedly interned abroad, visiting wonderful cities like Paris and Madrid. 2019 marked Somanta's college graduation. She planned to enroll in the international law program at Drexel University. March 2019 was dedicated to intensive preparation for final exams, which were just a month away. Somanta's classmates realized that they would soon part ways and had few opportunities left for spending time together. The graduating seniors tried to seize every chance to hang out, visit cafes or nightclubs, chat, and enjoy the last carefree days of student life. Greg had graduated a year earlier and lived a 2.5-hour drive from Somanta's college. Despite the distance, they maintained a very close relationship. The couple often went to football games cheering for the same team, met at cafes and bars in the area where they first met, and video chatted daily. According to Greg, they did everything together. Distance was no obstacle to their communication. Day and night, they dedicated every free minute to each other. On March 28, 2019, Somanta received upsetting news from her college that greatly saddened her. Greg tried to cheer her up and promised to visit soon. But a few hours later, he said he urgently had to take care of some business. On the phone, Greg advised Somanta to distract herself from the sad thoughts and have fun with friends, assuring her it would improve her mood. All evening, Greg and Somanta exchanged messages, constantly staying in touch. Their smartphones had an app installed that allowed them to track each other's location for safety. Somanta decided to accept her friend's invitation to meet up. They headed to a restaurant in the 5 Points area popular with students. There was loud music, cheap drinks, and friends discussing pressing issues, upcoming exams, and exam prep. Somanta tried to unwind but remained in low spirits. From time to time, she sought out a quiet place to call Greg alone and vent about her problems. After a few hours, Somanta decided to leave the restaurant. At 2 a.m., the girls stepped outside. She called Greg again, telling him she had called a cab and would be heading home soon. Somanta lived 3 kilometers from the restaurant. Surveillance cameras captured the girl talking on the phone while waiting for her cab. Throughout this time, Greg stayed on the line with her. At exactly 12 minutes to 3 a.m., a black car pulled up to the restaurant. The Chevy Impala parked in a handicapped spot. As soon as the driver stopped the car, Somanta hurriedly approached and got into the back seat. Within seconds, the door closed and the black Chevy drove off. Cameras recorded the car heading southeast. Greg tracked Somanta's movements through the app on his phone. He immediately realized something was wrong. Instead of going to her rented apartment near the college, the girl was moving in the opposite direction. Greg tried calling Somanta but no one answered. He sent text messages but got no response. The young man wrote to Somanta on social media, but his messages remained unread there too. Meanwhile, her phone kept moving southeast. 28 minutes after the girl got into the car, her phone signal disappeared from the map. Greg contacted Somanta's friends, but none of them could provide any information about her whereabouts. The young man thought that maybe the girl had returned home and left her phone on the back seat of the cab, which is why she wasn't answering calls. At 3 a.m., Greg went to sleep, hoping his girlfriend would get in touch in the morning. The next morning, Samanta was supposed to show up for work at the Liberty Bar. Greg called there and was shocked by the news that the girl hadn't come in for her shift. At that moment, Greg and Samanta's friends realized something terrible had happened to her. At 2 p.m., Greg filed a missing person report with the local police for 21-year-old Somanta Jozovson. The young man started his own search, calling hospitals and police stations. Samanta was nowhere to be found. Greg surveyed the area around the restaurant but found no traces. Greg managed to track down the restaurant workers who gave him access to the outdoor surveillance camera footage. The young man handed these recordings over to the police. At the station, he met Samanta's parents who could barely hold back tears. It turned out that 2 hours ago, Samanta's body had been found 100 kilometers from the restaurant where she had been hanging out that night. The girl had died from multiple stab wounds. Samanta's family and close friends were devastated by grief, and Greg realized he had witnessed his girlfriend's abduction, as he had tracked her movements in the last minutes of her life. The police carefully studied the surveillance camera footage showing Samanta getting into the cab. After reviewing the deceased's emails on her laptop, investigators learned that the cab driver Samanta had called had cancelled the order. The girl had mistakenly gotten into the wrong car. Further analysis of the video recordings showed that the black Chevy Impala had been circling the area for some time. When the driver noticed Samanta standing apart from the crowd, he turned the car around and pulled right up to her. Detectives began searching for the black Chevy Impala and checking all drivers of similar vehicles. Only 26 hours after Samanta's disappearance, on March 30th, a police officer noticed a black car similar to the one the girl had gotten into before her death. The officer turned on the flashing lights, forcing the driver to pull over. Behind the wheel was 24-year-old Nathaniel Rolland. The officer ordered him to take his hands out of his pockets and get out of the car. The young man opened the door, but instead of complying, he fled. Within 2 minutes, he was apprehended by patrol officers from a neighboring precinct who arrived as backup. Nathaniel Rolland was born in 1995. After graduating high school in 2012, he actively played basketball. His coach described Nathaniel as a great young man from a decent family. However, in recent years his life had gone downhill. The investigation revealed that Nathaniel had repeatedly violated traffic rules, speeding, not wearing a seatbelt. In February 2018, he was arrested for appearing drunk in public and disturbing the peace. But he had an even more serious crime on his record. In October 2018, Nathaniel was allegedly one of 2 perpetrators who carjacked a vehicle at a traffic light. There was a woman inside. The attackers threatened her, forced her to drive to an ATM, withdrew all the money from her account, and then went to her home. There, the robbers took a gaming console and jewelry. Only after the thieves had carried out all the valuables did they leave the residence. A few hours later, Nathaniel pawned some of these items. The victim went to the police. The suspects were found, arrested, and charged with fraudulent appropriation of property worth $2,000. They were fined and released. Nathaniel was not charged with auto theft or kidnapping. After the tragic death of Somanta Jozovson in March 2019, police detained Nathaniel Rolland. A significant amount of blood was found in the trunk and back seat of his black Chevy Impala. Samanta's cell phone was discovered in the glove compartment, which became the first irrefutable evidence linking Nathaniel to the deceased girl. Liquid bleach, disinfectant wipes, and glass cleaners were also found in the car, obvious attempts to destroy evidence of the crime. While searching Nathaniel's home, detectives found even more cleaning supplies, and most importantly, a knife with Samanta's blood on it. Her blood was also found on a bandana, sock, and under the suspect's fingernails. Nathaniel was charged with illegal possession of a weapon, kidnapping, and murder. Nathaniel Rolland's trial began on July 20, 2021. During the hearings, 31 people testified, including the person who found Samanta's body in a deserted spot in the middle of a field. Surveillance camera footage captured Nathaniel circling the area in his Chevy Impala approximately 25 minutes before abducting the girl. Many witnesses identified him. As soon as Samanta got into the black car, Nathaniel locked the doors from the inside. We will never know the moment the girl realized she had fallen into a trap. But even if she had immediately understood it, she would not have been able to get out of the car. No one would have responded to her cries for help, as loud music was playing near the restaurant where it all happened and young people were milling about. The Chevy Impala sped off to the southeast. Throughout this time, Samanta and Nathaniel's phones were in range of the same cell tower. Most likely, the girl died right in the car. Over 120 stab wounds were found on her body. Samanta had severe injuries to her face, neck, shoulders, torso and legs. A few hours after the murder, surveillance cameras captured Nathaniel Rolland trying to withdraw cash from the victim's bank cards. 9 times he entered the PIN, and 9 times the ATM denied service. In the end, not a cent was taken from Samanta's account. The killer left empty-handed. On July 27, 2021, a jury found Nathaniel Rolland guilty of kidnapping and murdering 21-year-old Somanta Jozovson. It took them just over an hour to reach this verdict. Nathaniel did not admit guilt. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Somanta Jozovson was an attractive and kind girl. She studied hard, dreamed of higher education, and wanted to benefit society. Unfortunately, her life was cut short by a person who sought easy gain and decided to rob the girl. Samanta made a fatal mistake by getting into a stranger's car without verifying his identity. This mistake cost her life. The parents of the deceased started a charity called What's My Name to educate the public about safety measures when taking cabs. Greg became a criminal defense attorney. He admitted it is still difficult for him to cope with the loss of his beloved girlfriend. Greg has now completely dedicated himself to work, striving to change the world for the better and help victims of dangerous criminals. Somanta Jozovson was buried in a Jewish cemetery in her home state of New Jersey. Every year, people touched by this girl's story participate in a 5K run in memory of Samanta, whose life was cut short so tragically, unexpectedly, and unfairly. I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Until next time, friends.